Nigeria faces ongoing security challenges, including militancy and insurgency, especially in the northeastern parts of the country, affecting millions, especially women and vulnerable groups. With nearly half of the population being female, the need for gender-responsive security efforts has never been greater. The role of women is increasingly being recognized as crucial to achieving sustainable change and improving state-society relations. With funding from the government of Germany, UN Women has implemented the second phase of the Enhancing Gender-Responsive Security Operations and Community Dialogue project to meet the following objectives: support capacity building and institutional strengthening for enhanced gender responsiveness in security institutions, strengthen collaboration between women affected by conflict, community-based structures, security sector institutions, and other stakeholders to address security concerns of women and girls. This project was carried out in 3 target states: Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in collaboration with partners West Africa, Nigeria, National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, National Defense College, and the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs.
The UN Security Council Resolution 1325 was adopted on the 31st of October 2000 by the UN Security Council. It was recognized that globally, women bear the brunt of violent conflict, and they are often excluded when it comes to peace-building processes. And they felt that for us to achieve sustainable peace in the world, we need to first consider the fact that women have potentials to contribute to peace and security. So when the resolution was adopted, of course, all member states of the UN, we are called upon to develop what we call National Action Plan. The government of Nigeria took that bold step and developed the first and second National Action Plan. The National Action Plan looked at the context-specific challenges that women face when it comes to conflict and peace building. And that National Action Plan actually came up with a very comprehensive strategy on how women can be actively and meaningfully engaged in peace and security processes at all levels, and how these institutions can also key into that agenda. Now, UN Women also conducted an assessment of different security institutions in Nigeria and discovered that there is a huge gender gap. The operational policies and guidelines were also gender insensitive. Now, based on this gap, UN Women felt that, look, we need to come up with a very innovative program that will address these gender gaps in the security sector and also in the community. And that was what gave birth to the design of the program we call Enhancing Gender Responsive Security Operations and Community Dialogue. So the project actually aimed to first build the capacity of security institutions to be gender responsive, but also enhance synergy and collaboration with community, especially women, to address security concerns of women and girls. At the national level, what the program did was to work directly with the Nigerian Police Force, the Armed Forces of Nigeria, and Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. UN Women supported this institution to develop what we call gender policies. These gender policies were developed and launched by this institution. So at that strategic level, we got the support from the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police, and the Commandant General of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. So decision makers in this security institution key into the UN Security Council resolution agenda by ensuring that their institutions now have framework that will enhance women's meaningful participation in security processes.
Working in collaboration with the UN Women and other security agencies has been very impactful in our approaches in transforming the Nigerian police into a gender-responsive security sector. The Inspector General of Police, working of course with the Police Service Commission, whose responsibilities are recruitment and enlistment of officers, has been intentional in increasing the number of women enlistment into the Nigerian police, in putting women in decision-making position. Like for the very first time in the history of the Nigerian police, the IG appointed a woman as the force secretary for the Nigerian Police Force. He has also increased the number of female officers occupying the offices of commissioners of police. There has been massive capacity building for police officers, especially our women, our gender desk officers, that are spread across the Federation. There has been a series of capacity building just to enhance the police response, especially to gender-based violence, and also in their interaction with their community for them to be gender responsive. We've also had a capacity building for our police prosecutors. All these are efforts towards enhancing the Nigerian police being gender responsive in their approach. Similarly, the Inspector General of Police has also approved the adoption of the gender manual, training manual for security institutions, and also adopted the SGBB standard operating procedure that has been produced with support from UN Women and Ford Foundation. All these are efforts towards building the capacity of our officers to be gender responsive in their approach.
The project has influenced our institution's policy to promote gender responsiveness and inclusion through increase in recruitment of females, gender responsive budgeting and procurement, increase in female participation in military operations, and there's an awareness and acceptance of gender concepts, and there's also increase in the protection of human rights, especially as it concerns women and girls. The Armed Forces has invested in intensive increase in advertisements, displaying female role models of the Armed Forces of Nigeria to counter negative perceptions about women in the military. There's also zero tolerance for sexual exploitation, harassment, and abuse. The Armed Forces of Nigeria also employs gender-sensitive merit-based promotion, which ensures maternity leave breaks do not negatively affect appraisals. As a result of the capacity building initiatives, awareness, and sensitization carried out by the UN Women in collaboration with the Armed Forces of Nigeria, there is increased representation of women in military operations and decision-making level. There's improved trust among host communities, leading to better community engagements. We've also seen collaboration with various stakeholders. There's a strengthened institutional capacity to sustain gender-responsive practices, such as institutionalizing the gender policy, which will be reviewed every 3 years. Is also establishment of the gender desks or focal offices at the headquarters and in all military formations and units.
NSCDC adopted and launched a gender policy 15 July 2021, and we have improved tremendously in areas of participation and representation of women according to the National Action Plan. For example, we have more female officers, at the state level as the commandant of the corps, because we have the E for she at the aim of affair of the corps is pushing more women to be at the aim of affairs.
The National Defense College did the gender audit of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. We found out that there is a knowledge gap on what gender is at the strategic level. There's a need to mainstream gender trainings in the curriculums across the institutions and academies of the security sector institutions. Basically, what we do is to ensure that we bring in activities to make sure that the security sector is gender sensitive, to ensure that gender is being mainstreamed in their policies, in their practices, and in all that they do. This project has been able to fund these activities, and it has actually also helped us to go around to see how we can bring them up to speed in terms of policies and in terms of ensuring that these policies are being implemented, in terms of providing a better working condition even for the female officers in their various offices, their units and commands, and to also provide more opportunities for women.
Another important impact from this project, which I feel is strategic, is we are going beyond policies. We're also looking at laws.
We've worked with consultants to actually look at the act of these security agencies to see how gender responsive they are. We identified these gaps and seeing how we can make the act to be more gender responsive. We've actually finished the amendment of the bills for the Civil Defense Act and Army and Police. We have actually presented the bills to the chairman on committee on Women Affairs in the House, and they promised to work with us to ensure that the bills, the proposed amendments are passed. With time, in the next 1 or 2 years, we should be able to see a more inclusive environment, even in the security sector. As far as it relates to women, we should see women in leadership positions.
Here in Borno State, we have worked with UN Women. It's like a continuation or expansion of what has been done at the federal level, to see that what we already have on ground, that is the Borno State Action Plan since 2017, we need to review it. So we are on a reviewing process. The State Action Plan first was done in Borno State during the humanitarian crisis, Borno State being the epicenter of the insurgency, looking at how to make women's voices to be heard, interacting with the traditional institution and the religious institution to see how to create peace within the state.
Ministry of Women Affairs is working with UN Women in collaboration on the YSAP, Yobe State Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security. We have women peace mediators at the community level through one of our projects, Building Resilience of Conflict-Affected Women in the state, which has been funded through the Ministry of Women Affairs by UN Women. So we have this structure at the community. They work at the community level. If there is any threat of issue, they will just alert the ministry and they report all cases, need and concern of people from the community to the ministry. So through this structure, at least we are receiving a lot of cases where we refer and some we solve it at the ministry level.
One important thing we did, which was quite innovative, was the fact that we realized that the security institutions in Nigeria were working in silos. There was no coordination mechanism. So for the first time, we established what we call the Women, Peace and Security Sector Reference Group. This group was established in 2020 by UN Women with support from Germany. And it's a coordination group that brings all the security institutions in Nigeria to meet on quarterly basis and come up with strategic framework of how they would enhance gender responsiveness in their respective institutions. So interagency collaboration was established and strengthened by this project. That reference group is co-chaired by the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and the Defense Headquarters.
Our role in this project as an implementing partner is to ensure we're on ground, implementing the activities and ensuring it meets with the objective and goals of the project. And we did this with the community platforms and security agencies. We were able to work together with them and build the trust that was lacking between the security agencies and the community platforms. We established these community platforms, the Mixed Observers Team, Community Safety Partnership, and the WLOs.
Now, Mixed Observers Teams is a structure that we felt we need a space, a special space for women and girls to be able to come and report some of their security concerns. Because we discovered that girls and women that, for instance, are being raped do not report such cases. And we tried to find out why. Because of the culture of silence, most of the girls and women are timid. They would rather keep it to themselves than report such cases. And we asked, why don't you report it? They were like, most times when they go to police or civil defense, they will be attended by men because those institutions are dominated by men. So we established the Mixed Observers Team, which is a structure that is made up of only women drawn from the security institutions and women community leaders to be able to deal or address security concerns of women and girls.
we find out that there are some security challenges like GBV issues, drug abuse issues. We now pick them up as a point of our sensitization. We also collaborate with the Ministry of Women Affairs, NDLEA, community leaders, religious leaders, police, so that we can be able to manage some cases that comes our way.
I am the Gender Desk Officer of the Nigerian Police Force, also working with MOT, P1 and UN Women. And as Gender Desk Officer, if there are any cases that has to be a criminal cases of SGBV, I do come in and give advice. And if it is something that needs to be investigated, then we'll track down and see that justice has been done. We sensitize people on what is SGBV and also the roles of women in the community so that they will not be quiet, because keeping quiet means supporting the perpetrator and also increase in such cases in the communities.
Mun lura cewa yawanci GBV cases da ake ma, they are doing it out of ignorance. Kamar su wannan Togris din nan da nake faɗa, Malians din, yawancin su they are school drop out. So most of them are semi-illiterate. So they don't have any awareness about yanda za su tafi da kansu ma ba san yanda kansu yake musu ciwo ba. So because of this awareness, some of them have been enrolled into non-formal school system.
We're able to penetrate right into the communities and talk to mothers to send their girls to school. We were able to make the government to open to get us empowerment centers in town so that we can send our girls to go and learn different trades and be able to stand on their own. We're working towards women to be able to be a voice for themselves and to be able to stand independently.
We had the opportunity to train 150 women in the sewing of reusable sanitary pads. And so we had already identified, selected and targeted the 150 adolescent women and girls for this training. But then there was a lady that caught our attention. She was not identified nor selected for this training. However, this lady, Farmata, she got interest in the training, really wanted to be part of it. And so what she did was, since she's not part of the training and the training was not within her immediate community, she decided on her own. She treks every day to the vocational training site, at least 1 hour 30 minutes a day to the site. She learned how to sew the reusable sanitary pads. Not just that, they use the materials to be able to sew diapers for their babies. So this woman's resilience really showed me how much impact our programming can go, you know, in building resilience and economic sustainability for women within the context of, you know, a crisis like the one we worked with.
Working with P1 and UN Women has broadened our knowledge through the capacity building that P1 and UN Women give us, for us to go into our community to stand and to sensitize our people in cases of GBV and other related offenses.
Kuma bayan haka, ko da police station muka je, idan muka ce mu MOT member ne, suna daraja mu kuma suna ansan maganar mu, ko da dare ko da safe ko da rana. Kuma a bulamomi, lawanni, ajiya, hatta ko da shari'a ne muka shiga, kinga to dole a zauna a saurare mu. Amma inda a ce haka ne a zaune fa, da ana cin zarafi sosai, ba yadda za ka yi. Yarka kana ji kana gani ma, in an mata fyaɗe ba za ka kai, ba inda za ka kai, kawai za a yi rufa-rufa, a rufa asiri waye-waye. Amma yanzu da kai ya waye, MOT P1 suka cire MOT wannan, gashi mun samu darajar mu, mu za mu ji bayani a kawo mana ko mu ji labari, za mu taka mu je kuma ba za su boye mana ba. Kin ga mun samu nasara a nan din.
We collaborated with the community leaders in the community to be able to see that our works go smoothly. They accepted us as if we were even part of the community. So at any time that we want to implement anything, we find it very easy to access the community.
My work as a caseworker is to attend to survivors of GBV. I attend to them as they come in, I welcome them, I established that is a rapport between me and the survivor. Then explain the services. I inform them that we have female lawyers, that is the feeder. We have human rights. I will now look and assess, that is the survivor. What is their need? Is it medical services? Is it psychosocial services? Or do they need lawyers? If it is medical, we use the ministry that is here at the one-stop center. We have a doctor here and nurses that will attend to their wounds. If it is more than what they can handle, then they now refer them. We refer them to maybe a FMC or specialist hospital. Some of the girls were raped, and after being raped, they were afraid. They are always afraid to speak out because of intimidation or stigmatization. So the best thing that we do is we go to the community and organize town hall meeting or creation of awareness to this community. Sometimes we go to the radio and TV stations and create awareness. And it helps a lot because most people, immediately after that program, they will start calling you. And so many of them, that is how they find themselves here.
Miss Observers team also established what we call legal clinic, providing free legal services on pro bono for women and girls. That has, encouraged women to report such cases.
Basically, what we do after sensitization is treating cases that come to us directly. We've been able to handle modestly over 50 cases in the last 2 years connected to this project.
We've also embarked on advocacy to various stakeholders in the state. We have good collaboration and synergy with them. We were able to build their capacity in regard to the laws and how to handle complaints when it's brought to them. Most of the cases, we used to refer it to us here in the National Human Rights Commission. And those that refer prosecution, we also refer it to FIDA to follow up, and we also follow up with them to its logical conclusion to ensure justice is served.
UN Women provide training, capacity building to different groups of women, security personnel, traditional leaders, religious leaders, and also UN Women promote gender inclusion, which make the women to become more confident in participating in decision-making and peace-building processes.
There is a need for more women to be involved in political leadership in local government and state levels so that the security problems of women and girls can be taken care of. It is only a woman that knows what pinches a woman. In that capacity, if women are more in leadership in local governments and at the state level, problems of women will be taken care of.
A very big opportunity for UN Women or international donors or any agency that want to work is to work with political parties, work with traditional rulers to make sure that women at the local government level are not just there to bring votes during election, but they are also involved in leadership position.
Through this sensitization and awareness creation and with the support of government, civil defense or security have seen it that is important for us women to participate in leadership and even have offices to help and to direct.
If you check Adamawa State, it's one of the most unique states right now in terms of governance. We have all our local government vice chairmen as women. One of the advantages of having women in government is that they are more empathetic to issues, especially concerning the girl child. We hope that women become local government chairmen and governors in Adamawa State, but we're not there yet. We have some challenges right now. Most of it is because women are still answerable to the men at home. But with education and interaction with women, we have noticed that more women come into the political arena and they are doing well.
Kuma culture ɗinmu a nan ya nuna inda maza suka haɗu da yawa bai kamata mace tana wurin ba. Kaga culture ɗin nan ya kamata a yi breaking ɗin shi, a yi faɗakarwa, a yi ma mata sensitization, awareness, bisa a dinga yin bita yadda za a dinga kawo mata a tara su, a nuna musu su ma ya kamata su kawo kansu, su yi abun, su shigar da kansu abun da ya shafi siyasa,
We're building a society of strong, resilient women who are able to stand up for themselves and for other women. So I teach you what to do and you teach the next person. We cannot save every woman. But if I meet one woman and I teach her what to do, I teach her the referral pathways, how to report the crimes against her. If I teach her how to blow the whistle, then she's able to teach others, and then MOT is evolving from just 16 women. We can grow to 1,000 women.
Mun samu mun yi registering da network of state civil society organization as part of our sustainability plan saboda mu samu more collaboration and support.
We are trying to collaborate with the Women Affairs. We are trying to collaborate with the CSPs and then also the traditional rulers.
Muna tara monthly dues. Each member muna taxing 1,000 naira. Lokacin da in 2021 ma the first project year ending, we use that money to conduct so many sensitization. Sannan kuma a gaba muna tsammani MOT zai bunkasa fiye da haka.
We are very, very grateful. We appreciate the effort of the UN Women.
We would like to thank the German government for supporting and funding this project.
The fund they sent to this really achieved many. And many women today were able to know what to do and how to do it when it comes to GBV, and how also to sensitize to our children to avoid this drug abuse. So I really thank you for the work well done. And we are like Oliver Twist, the coverage is too small. We have 27 local governments, we only cover 6. If there is an opportunity again to cover more local governments, you people have done great work. Kudos to you people, and the Borno will not forget you in a haste.
Now, apart from the mixed observers team, we also have what we call the community safety platforms, which is another structure established at the grassroots level. Men drawn from different sectors, security, civil society, traditional institutions, government ministries, departments, and agencies, among others. They meet on a monthly basis to also help first identifying the challenges that women and girls face, take proactive action and strategic action to deal with these issues, and they complement the work of the mixed observers team. So that in itself has built confidence in the community, where we now have men and women working collectively with security institutions to deal with these menace.
We advocate, we go for sensitization, creating awareness for people. We have formed a strong collaborative network where we handle this issue of gender-based violence, rape cases, drug abuse, and child labor, sexual harassment, and the rest. So we have partnered with our community structures like the traditional rulers, religious institutions we have within our communities, so that we as community watchdogs, we make keen observations regards to some of these things I've mentioned earlier. Since we don't have the authority to arrest, to make arrests, so we liaise with these people, we forward it to them. These are the referral pathways we have.
We have achieved a lot, ranging from community relation, understanding, policing, and how to come about certain offenses relating to girls' child abuses.
We had several trainings from the partners, which they did in order to improve our capacities. We went on sensitization visits and advocacy visits to so many places to see that all that we have learned from the training, we are stepped down to the communities. We were at the NDLEA on advocacy visit on drug abuse. We were on radios to sensitize people, and it is not without challenges, because sometimes we will write letters to organizations in order to carry out these sensitization visits, but you find out that the letters will not be replied. We collaborate with the other platforms like the MOT and the Women-led, where we used to have joint sessions.
We have come together to, share our knowledge, share our challenges, and look for better ways through which we can address such situations that we find ourselves in.
Majority people with disability, especially mata, wanda na ɗaya ba su yi karatu ba, kuma babu sana'o'i a hannunsu. Irin wannan shi yake ja musu rashin tsaro, don maza da dama a unguwa za su zo a matsayin suna so su taimaka musu ne. su kuma da yake ba karatun ba ba kuma sana'an ba, sai su amince da wannan mutanen, sai da wannan daman ne za su yi amfani su ci zarafinsu. Amma da muka je mu a matsayinmu na CSP, mun je community mu na people disability na leading nasu, especially mata, da muka musu magana akan gender based violence, cin zarafin jinsi, abin da yake jawo sakewa daga kai ne, kuma su yi kokari su yi dogaro da kansu. Akwai waɗansu kuma wanda ni ne ma da hannuna na musu training na makeup, wanda mun je mun sai musu kayayyaki kaɗan suna yi, sun fara dogaro da kansu. Hakan ya kara musu tsaro, don da yawa daga cikinsu sun kira ni suna faɗa mini. Wannan abu ne na farin ciki da ci gaba wanda muka samu a community mu na people disability sanadiyan wannan CSP.
Kuma da kafin CSP nan ya fita, an yi fyaɗe ana jin kunya su fada. Amma yanzu sanadin wannan, yanzu ko mu ba mu yi magana ba, su ma za su zo su gaya mana.
Manyan garinmu kuma sun ba mu karfi gwiwa da su polisawa da sojoji da lawanne da bulamomi da shi hakimi da kai duka sun ba mu haɗin gwiwa. Muna aiki tare da su. Cin zarafin yara kanana ko dai sojoji yadda suka masa ma mutanen gari, aka abin da dai sai mu ɗauka action a kai. Kuma mun taɓa yin action akan soja. Akwai wani sojan da yana so ya ci zarafin wani yarinya, su imam da bulama sun kawo min kara, sun kawo ma hakimi kara. Hakimi ya kira ni ya gaya min, ni kuma na kira direct abin yan kungiyar mu Zainab, na gaya mata, ta ce in je wajen CEO direct. Har CEO din ya yi ma godiya ma su chief imam, ya yi mana godiya ma kungiyar mu akan cewa abin da kuka fara wannan yana cin gaba kuma ya kawo mana alheri.
Sannan akwai kuma kamar a community irin domestic violence da ake yi ma persons with disability a gida. Sanadiyan mu muka je mu a matsayin mu na CSP, mun je mun musu wayar da kai akan akwai various places, akwai a human right, akwai desk na persons with disability. Idan har saboda muna da member mu wanda yake CSP a human right, idan sun je akwai desk na persons with disability, sai su mishi magana ma wannan member CSP, za a saurare su. Akwai wannan abu da ya faru ma a wata case na domestic violence din, ta tashi ta je desk na persons with disability a can human rights din, shi wannan member mu na CSP ya taimaka, aka bi baya, an je an sami wannan mijin, aka karba mata hakkinta a wurinsa.
Survivors of violence and insecurity are finding hope again, thanks to the efforts of the community-based structures. Mixed observer teams, community safety platforms, and women-led organizations. With every act of support, these structures are helping women and girls move from survival to recovery. These are the voices of that journey.
When I got married, he was physically abusing me, complaining that I wasn't contributing anything. So that was when I happened to meet Hopeful Women Initiative. The Hopeful Women Initiative empowered me with the sum of 50,000 naira, and with that, I started a little business of selling of those fabrics. Seriously, the token has really helped me, and now I can take care of myself, take care of my children. Thank you for coming to my aid. Thank you for showing up when I needed you guys the most. I also want to appeal, because there are many women that happens to find themselves in this condition, gender-based violence and all of that. Their husbands maltreating them, and some of them, you happen to see that they don't even have where to go. They don't have who to run to for help. If this help can be extended to them, I'll be very grateful.
I was sexually harassed by somebody close by. And from that day, I became miserable. The first time I heard about the MOT, it was from a friend. I was scared at first. But when I went there, they treated me with care and kindness. They made me feel that what happened is not really the end of everything for me. I was able to get help by them giving me a machine, a local pasta machine. And with that, I was able to help myself and my junior ones. As a result of the MOT, their kindness towards me, their encouragements and their words, I was able to overcome the fear and the burden and I'm able to walk head high without any fear of what people will say. What I would want to say to people that went through what I did or similar to what I went through is that they are not alone. And there's also a place that they can go, like the MOTs. They will help you, they will comfort you, and provide support for you.
Sai zamana muka fita, muka je makarantu, muna musu faɗakaswa. Mun koya musu yadda za su yi, idan wani abu yana so ya faru, yadda za su nuna domin mu a fahimci cewa ga abun da yake so ya faru da su domin su samu taimako.
Da farko ina makaranta a JSS2 sabon fegi ɓarbe, amma ta zo ta aure ta je gidan mijinta. Muka je tare da ita aure muna zaune a gidan mijinta, so that yanzu shi miji mai gidanta din sai ya zo ya shiga ɗaki na kaina da daddare, har abin da ya zo ya kasance da ya bani ciki. Har muka zo aka kawo magana police station, aka yi magana an kulle shi har ya sati biyu, ɗan wanshi zo sun nuna kuɗi sun fit da shi. To sai aka ce to suka zo suka roka wai a komar da maganan gida, za su san da za su ta kawo abinci kowane wata. An zo an komar da magana ɗin gida sun sa wasa, suka ce akan da su ba mu kuɗi, woman dan an ji an kulle shi sai su yi ta aiki da kuɗi da suna fitowa da shi. Shi ne yanzu daga baya wata antina ne ta same na kan cewa akwai wani abubuwan da ake game da wato yancin mata, inda abin da ya hasarin da ya same ka a rayuwanka. Sai muka zo muka yaɗu a wurin ɗin, aka koya mana game da inda namiji zai taɓa yanci hakkin mata, kwato hakkin mata da yancin mata. Shi ne abin da ya kawo ga yau kenan. Da injin na yin taliya an koya mana yadda za mu yi ta yi, ko na sayarwa za mu yi ta irin muna ci a gida, sun ba mu kyautar injin ɗin. Sannan kuma zalika da kuɗi haka na. A gaskiya dama farko na zauna ban san sana'an kun ba, amma yanzu da aka bani injin ina yin sana'a. To ina yi mu dafa gidan mu ci mu dan sayar da ko 5-10 hakan nan. Saya irin ko su takardu hakan nan, but yanzu ma rabin da na sana ko makaranta. Kuma ina ƙara gaya muku 'yan mata irin bisa irin wanda abun ne ya same ku, kada ku ɓoye, ku fito ku faɗa, don akwai masu taimako za su taimake ku kamar da suka taimake ni.
It is our desire that this project reinvigorate, the project continues so that where we could not reach can be attained in the near future. So we are still pleading for our partners, like our donors, like the UN Women, our partners West Africa, to put more effort to see that these projects continue.
Alhamdulillah, yanzu dai mata yanzu sun fara taka rawan gani. Yadda dai mata yanzu muna da bulama mace, muna da kansilan mace, muna da woman leader na mace, muna da supervisor kansile na mace, kuma suna ba da goyon baya 100%.
Due to the knowledge, capacity that I was well equipped with by CSP under P1, experience given to me, skills given to me, I put it into practice. I became a blama in January 2022. It's not easy for a woman in the community to become part of a decision maker.
So today, the voices of women can be heard. Though I believe that one of the things that have been militating against the political inclusion of women in Adamawa state politics is the fact that women are economically, pressured. So a woman must be trained on how to get her own money so that she can go into politics with her own money.
Having more women in leadership positions will create that avenue for more mentors, and this would encourage more women and more young girls to, toe the same line.
Mun zana, mun aje, mun she kowane wata, kamar yadda muka fara za mu dinga meeting, mu ci gaba, mu tafi sensitization.
We had a meeting and said, even after the project, let's continue working together. It brings joy to us seeing that we're fighting for women and girls in the society. I'm also thanking German government for giving UN Women this funding.
And this project, because of the impact and how effective it was for the community, radio stations in some of the states have dedicated, time for the MOTs and the CSP to come on their program to continue to sensitize the public on issues of GBV, women's rights, and then other security concerns.
P1 will continue to support the platforms through technical support, giving them advice on how to ensure their action plans are well implemented, even though the project has come to an end. But what we've seen so far is that we've been able to have an impact with the short phase of time we've implemented this project, and having the project extended to for a longer duration, let's say 3-4 years, would help us expand to other communities, expand to other states that also need this kind of intervention.
We have structure on ground like he for she, because we have so many men that are supporting women in the state. We have some of the traditional rulers, even the government itself stand for the women in the state. So at the government level, at the CSO level, at the traditional level, and also the religious leaders, we have our he for she mentors.
They are working closely with the media in sensitization and other radio programs and airing some of their activities in the television so that the viewers in the state will be aware and informed of the activities of the UN Women and promoting women in peace and security.
We want to kickstart formal activities, and these formal activities we want to go into school activities, we want to go into community activities, and then engaging with various relevant agencies like the Ministry of Youth, the Ministry of Women Affairs, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, the traditional leaders, and then the State House of Assembly. We want to formally engage them into a program, something that is significant, something that can project the mandate and the idea behind he for she, which is empowering the women, bringing the women into participation and decision making to ensure equity and equality.
We are also grateful to the German government for the funding for this project, and also to the UN Women. We've seen the project has yielded a lot of success stories, and it will be great to see this project expanded to different communities and also for a longer duration of time so that we have more impact.
We realize that this intervention is needed beyond the 3 states. We have stakeholders in other states clamoring for similar intervention because the issues that are confronting the Northeast is actually now a national issue. So my appeal and my call to donors, not just the government of Germany, other development partners, is to see how we can replicate these best practices in all the states of Nigeria. The second recommendation is, yes, the security institutions have keyed into this agenda by adopting gender policies and are working towards amending their laws. What needs to be done is to strengthen mechanisms for the implementation of these policies and laws. Because having the laws and policies are just a means to an end. What we want to see is the full practical implementation of these laws. So these are actions that I believe, if they are taken seriously, we will see a country where gender responsiveness is not just a target, but is also a reality.